Hello, my name's Cindy, and thank you for coming to this video. This is the second video in my study of the Library Trustee Manual, NH, New Hampshire Library Trustee Association. And I'm going to finish up all about the orientation and the beginning of learning how to be a trustee. And then we're going to talk about the money and the library. Okay, so orientation is a great way for new trustees to be coming to, I was voted in. I didn't really know that much. I had been to some of the meetings, but I didn't know what a library trustee actually does. So we are given the list of library trustees. We get the board of trustees bylaws, the board's committee assignments and duties. So, in our board, we have the chair, the treasurer, and the secretary. And so those are our three offices. So we will determine who those are every year. The charter and history of your library, I don't think I've seen that, but I do know that our library is a Carnegie library, and that means that we were given money from the Carnegie family as a beginning for our library. I think it was like $4,000 in like 1908 or something. And I did do a little bit of research about our library, but that would be a really good thing to go back and redo, to learn some more information about that. So Carnegie family gave money to libraries all around the world, actually. And the only thing they had to do in return is promise that the library would never close, and obviously provide information for free to community members. And also, at the beginning of being a trustee, you would be given a chart of the staff and what the responsibilities are, and the job descriptions, and the library's mission. So I know that we did work on that as a group a couple years ago. So we're supposed to have a library mission of our own. What is our mission for our own library? Our goals and objectives, policies, procedures. We have to have a board approved budget. We need to have an annual report, and we need to know the state laws pertaining to libraries. That will help us to run efficiently. And so I was given this book when I first came to the library, and it was very helpful. It also can be printed online at their website, NHLTA website. And the library trustees are to be working for the citizens, the voters, the library users. Trustees carry the primary responsibility for obtaining funds, qualified staff, and diverse material to provide the best service possible. It's a trustee's job and responsibility to advocate for the champion and champion the work of their library. So library trustees should be, we want money to help us run the library, but we also want to try to get people to come to the library to use the services. And libraries are a great equalizer in American society. So, people come to the library. We had a great adult group. We read some classic books together, and we come from all different backgrounds, and we discuss different topics. And it was really great way to make friends, to share, our opinions, and to, grow together as people and just share the love of reading. So some of the jobs for the trustee are to speak up to the municipalities, to the historical groups in your town. It can complement and enhance the school curriculum. So I asked them to get phonics books, because I think that would be good for kids in our town. We need help with reading, so phonics books are great to help with that. Some of the young children's books are getting away from phonics. Nowadays, we're getting back to it because we're realizing how much it actually is beneficial to learning how to read. We're to speak out. We're to talk about different things in our community, tell people about our library, tell them to come out to read this book or that book or whatever that you have there. Speak for the library. People of all ages We want to promote technology. In our library, we have computers, we have a telescope. We want to promote those things. We want to, maintain a good spirit in our library. It should be a community hub for everyone to come to and to partake in what they like and maybe learn something new. Then the next thing is we are all about the money. Not really. We're all about books, but you do need money to run an organization of any kind. And so in the library, we do present a budget to the town budget committee and the selectmen, and we are part of our town budget once that is all approved, and it will go to the voters. And in our town, we vote every March right now. We're voting for the budget of the town, and we want to try to ask for the money that we need to run the library effectively. And the money that we get from the town, from the taxpayers, is called appropriations. So we get appropriations for our budget from the town. And in our town, we get a certain amount, we divide it by 12, and we get a monthly disbursement. And so that's how we do it. We get appropriations, and then we also get donations, and we have a few different ways that we can generate income, which we put into a separate non-appropriation account. And we always have to have a purpose. Like when you set your budget, you have to say, this is how much money I need. These are all the things I need to buy this year. This is my budget. And if we are given a donation, it has to have a purpose. We have Friends of the Library. They donate money for the summer reading program, or they donate money for different, we have a program where we buy books when a new baby's born in town, and the Friends of the Library help with that. So we have to have a reason for every amount, every bit of money that comes into the library. We also make changes with a special warrant article. So that's kind of interesting. If we want to make changes, we have to get a warrant article drawn up. We have to get people who sign the warrant article, and then it will be put on the ballot and voted on by the taxpayers. So we've done that before, and it's worked out pretty well. It could get voted down, it could be voted for. It says any article in the warrant for an annual or special meeting which proposes an appropriation by the meeting. The warrant article is submitted by petition or calls for issuance of bonds or notes. I don't think we've ever done that. We've never asked for extra money by warrant article other than the regular budget, which goes in with the town. Then there's also the Capital Reserve Fund for financing all or part of the cost of such things as construction, reconstruction, acquisition of specific items or land, or maintenance and operation of a specific public facility. Think of it as a savings account. So Capital Reserve Fund. So that would be something special. Now in our library, our library is in a historical building. So we don't have a mortgage on it. We haven't built it, but the town maintains it because it's a historic building. And then we have the word encumber, anticipated expenditure or an uncompleted or undelivered portion of purchase commitment. Encumbered funds are a specific amount of money carried over to the next fiscal year to pay for a legally enforceable obligation or contract. For example, books on order or contract for carpeting arranged in year 1 with the work to be done in year 2. So you can encumber funds, and that is part of the bookkeeping. Then we are to prepare the annual budget. The Board of Trustees, with input and recommendation from the director, prepare the annual budget. This budget should meet the mission statement and service goals of the library. The preparation is really the most important part of the whole process. It takes months to do this properly. You must review the past 2 years, estimate the present end of year, and project the future year. You have the tools, the library's long-range plan, actual expenditures and revenues of the past 2 years, and the estimated expenditures and revenues for the end of the year compared to the approved budget. So we actually are still working on last year's budget, and so once we're done with that, the reason we've had some issues because we learned some new things and we need to fix it in the budget that we're working on, and we need to make changes so that it's better going forward. And so that's what we're working on, and hopefully that's all going to iron out soon. And we are going to just on the budget, you're going to figure out how much money you think you need for things. Then you can also project your revenues. This is interesting. I don't think this has ever been done at our library. All budgets must be prepared on a gross basis, which includes all proposed expenditures as well as all anticipated revenues from all sources with offsetting expenses in the appropriate lines. Remember, a warrant article authorizing the town to raise and appropriate money for the operation of the library does not authorize the raising of the total amount through taxation. It simply grants spending authority to the trustees to expend a maximum amount of money during the accounting period. It is important for the board to review funds available from all sources and decide how those funds will be allocated while drafting the budget to be submitted to the town. The following income must be included. So this is something we need to do for next year. Overdue fines and payments for books, contracted support of library in another city or town, trust funds or interest income, grants, gifts, donations, bequests, bond issues, fees, non-resident cards, income from income generating equipment, photocopier printer, which is to be used for general repairs, and all money received from fines and payments of lost or damaged books, support of a library in another city or town, and so on. According to the Justice Department Office of the Attorney General, the appropriation shall not be lowered because trust income is available. Library trustees are required to follow donor intent in expending trust fund income. Okay, so we can't just say, we got some money, so we're going to buy a new copier if that's not what the trust fund income was for. The board should hold copies of all trust and will documents to ascertain their terms, and either should have financial knowledge of their management within their membership or should engage in appropriate professional. However, all income from trust funds that you anticipate spending must be included in the budget with an offsetting expenditure. Now, I think that's something we haven't done, so that is something we will have to do and figure out. Make sure your library at some point in the past has received authorization from the governing body and or legislative body of the municipality to accept, retain, and expend certain funds and property. Make sure all warrants state that the Board of Trustees has the authority to accept and expend. This permission only has to be given once and remains in effect unless specifically rescinded in the future. So we have the RSAs listed. We present the budget to the board. In our case, we have a board of selectmen. Talks here about the city council, the budget committee, select board. We have a select board and we have a budget committee that we present our information to. Note, the town manager or town administrator has no authority whatsoever over the library budget. You might send a copy of the budget as a courtesy, but trustees deal directly with the appropriate agency. Choose the trustee who can best explain what is adequate for the library in the coming year to make the presentation with the director. The presentation requires homework and perhaps a rehearsal in front of the whole board for critique and polishing. There should be no surprises for the appropriating agency because you have laid the groundwork all year. See the advocacy and working with local government sections. Trustees have the privilege of the entire custody of the management of one of the community's most important resources. You have a terrific product to sell. Enlist the support of friends and patrons at public hearings, deliberative sessions, and town meetings to demonstrate the vital role your library plays in the life of the community. All right, so now we have 6 rules for effective presentation. Be specific, be informative, be brief, be appreciative, be courteous, and be prepared. All right, so those are very important things. Now we have other money that we might receive as a library: a capital reserve fund, a capital improvement fund, or gifts, grants, and donations. Capital reserve is appropriating money to a capital reserve fund. Okay, so say we have $5,000 that's left over. We could ask the town, can we put that into a capital reserve fund? And they could, sign that on a warrant article or whatever. I don't think we have a CRF in our library. Capital improvement would be if we need money for a project and we want to, save some money for something like that. And that would have to be approved by the taxpayers. And grants, gifts, and donations are going to be put in our library into another fund. We always have to accept unanticipated funds. We will do that once a month at our monthly meetings. We also accept personal property other than money, and we're going to put some policies together for this stuff. So if the library's given a $10 item, we probably don't have to say much, but if they're given like a telescope or something of a big value, then we would have to approve that. And so we also have to accept the bequests. I've never had to do that. I know the library has been given bequests, but I haven't accepted them. So there's a chart about that. And the library can actually raise funds as a library. And I know just recently the Friends of the Library were able to sell some books in our town fair, and they raised some money for the summer reading program. So there are certain rules about fundraising and different rules about expending money. We expend money on a budget, and if anything new comes up, we have to decide, what account it's coming from and, how we're going to expend it, or if we're going to expend money. Then we are going to have bank accounts. We have 3 bank accounts. We have one account for the appropriations from the taxpayers. We have one account for the non-appropriated appropriations. And we also have a bequest that was given to us, and that is put into a separate account that we need to talk about in going forward. Paying the bills. So we really need to have accurate paying of the bills, and taxpayer public funds must be separate and distinct from any other private funds held in the library. So we just kind of learned about that this year. We had everything all mixed in, and now we have 2 separate accounts, and the all mixed in thing was the way they were doing it before, but according to the manual, we need to separate the funds. It's extremely important not to include the library's private funds in the total funds lapsed. So that's what we're working on right now, kind of fixing it from last year and then moving forward. NHLTA strongly recommends that the library trustees maintain control of all finances through the board treasurer or the board treasurer and an employed bookkeeper, or a public accountant or a private citizen service. Some libraries enlist the aid of the town or a private service to do the payroll and benefits management because of extensive federal and state requirements regarding taxes and administration. In those cases, the library bookkeeper or director submits information to the service. As the chief administrative officer of the library charged with managing the budget, the director should check and approve all invoices and verify the account numbers. The board should make provisions for the director to respond to unexpected circumstances such as purchasing emergency supplies. That's where the petty cash account might come in handy. Many libraries make use of debit and or credit cards. It's recommended that trustees adopt a policy that covers use and limitations. So these are things we need to talk about in our situation because things change. Like it used to be that you didn't have these credit cards and debit cards and things like that. So, hello, thank you for coming to my video. I appreciate you for watching this. I'm talking about the library. I am studying the New Hampshire Library Trustee Association manual tonight because I have a meeting tomorrow. And I'm refreshing myself on some of these things on how does the library run. And so, you know, if you're interested in participating in your town, maybe start at the library. And there's lots of ways that you can get involved and you could be a part of this program at your library. So I'm going to stop this video right here. We talked all about the money. If you have any questions, please post below. I'm going to start another video and I'm going to talk about managing the library.